There's another number that gets confused with the safety score. I'm talking about the Inspection Selection System score, or just ISS score. You're probably wondering what this number is, or why do you even have one if you don't have any inspections? I'll cover that and more. This is Krista from Motor Care Assistant bringing you another low-budget video. This is part 3 of our SMS video series. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about what the ISS score and how it is calculated. And I'll also show you where to get the ISS methodology document. Okay, let's get started. Do you know what your ISS score is? Okay, let's find out together. Go to the SMS page. The link to the site is in the description box below. Go ahead and log on and click on the See Your Data link to open up your full SMS profile. Scroll almost all the way down to the bottom and you'll find this section here. Your ISS score can be found here. So what is it and why should you care about this number? The ISS score is calculated or derived in a couple of different ways. I'll go over that in a little bit. Simply put, when you go to the weigh stations, the inspectors run your DOT number. ISS comes back with the score. The ISS score is used by the inspectors to determine whether to inspect you or not. The ISS score can have a value from 1 to 100. The higher the score, the more chance you'll get of getting inspected. There are a few items to go over in this section. Let's zoom in a little and talk about each one. Number one item is the state. The ISS score is updated daily on the SMS page. It is based on the current information from SMS and your number of inspections, and even on the number of power units and drivers. Item 2 is this link. This link opens up the ISS algorithm description document in PDF format. Do you need to know everything in this document or understand it all? Not really. There's a lot of information in this document. Most of it's not even going to apply to you, but I do think it's good to know the basics. Hey, so the next time you're at a party and someone brings up the ISS score algorithm, you'll know what they're talking about. You're welcome. The document is short, skim through it, or just look at the sections that are relevant to you. Everything I'm using here comes from this document. The next items, 3 and 4, they go together. Once the score has been obtained, there is a recommendation that follows. Let's look at this table. Remember what I said earlier? These scores help find the officers determine whether to inspect you or not. If your ISS score is between 75 and 100, the ISS recommendation is to inspect you. If your ISS score is between 50 and 74, the ISS recommendation is optional, meaning it's up to the inspector to inspect you or not. And if your ISS score is between 1 and 49, the ISS recommendation is to give you a pass. Keep in mind, no matter what, it's up to the inspector to inspect you or not. The last item, item number 5, is the basis of recommendation. This tells you which algorithm was used to figure out your score. There are 2 algorithms. The criteria to select one over the other is very specific. The criteria that allows the ISS to arrive at your score is very specific. Now, you don't really need to know every detail, but if you are anything like me, you'll probably want to know why your score is a 63. For example, not a 62 or 64, 63. I most definitely want to know how they got that number. Okay, let's go over the algorithms. I'm only going to cover the basics here. I'll leave out the excruciating details. One algorithm is used to prioritize motor carriers for inspection is the safety algorithm. The algorithm looks at your SMS profile, your basics, your percentiles, and your serious violations. This takes into account how many basics percentiles have gone over the threshold. So depending on your safety performance data, you're going to fall into one of 13 groups. Here are the first 10 groups. This is all from the ISS methodology document. I'll let you go through it at your leisure. But the one takeaway here is that if you have any alerts on your basics, your ISS score is going to be on the high side. These are the next three groups. Here they also tell you how your score is assigned, depending on your group. Basically, the better your SMS profile looks, the less of the score you're going to get and the less of the chance to get inspected. Okay, let's take a look at the second algorithm. The second algorithm is called the insufficient data algorithm. In a nutshell, this algorithm is for motor carriers that do not have enough inspections to have an SMS profile. Well, they have an SMS profile, but not much can be told from it. This might sound counterintuitive, but brokers and other companies do not like to see squeaky clean profiles. They want to see some inspections and they want to see that you've passed the inspections. The inspect recommendation is applied to two special cases. The first one is the motor carriers that have been placed on out of service. If the motor carrier has an out of service order, the ISS score is set to 100. This is also the case for the safety algorithm. Let's look at the next special case. Some of you are probably looking at an ISS score of 99, but you have no inspections or violations. Why is that? Well, my friend, congratulations, you've won the lottery this month. Once a month, the algorithm selects 1% of all carriers in need of inspections and scores of 99 is assigned to them. So if you get some inspections, does the score go back to normal? Eventually. The score of 99 is going to stay for a month. It will change within the next SMS update and a new 1% of motor carriers is going to be selected. The optional recommendation for the insufficient data algorithm looks to see if you have any inspections, how many and what levels. You can see that here in the methodology document. If you don't have any inspections, the algorithm looks at your number of power units and drivers. Okay, so I covered what the ISS score is and the basics of how the scores are figured out. Even though the SMS profile is used to figure out the score, the ISS score is not really any indication of your performance as a motor carrier. So let me leave you with this. When you look at the ISS score, also look at the basic of recommendation or which method was used. Let's look at two examples. The score for each carrier is 77. Obviously, the recommendation is to inspect, but one score was obtained using safety algorithm, while the other was obtained using the insufficient data algorithm. If you were the inspector, which motor carrier would you inspect? Leave me some comments and let's have a discussion. This is Krista from Motor Care Assistant. We have one more video before we get into the individual basics. Next week, I'll cover the SMS methodology. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it. Until the next one.